Today we're at Brompton Bicycles.
Will, Brompton Bicycle, big factory, new investment. I think you've been here for 6 months. Tell us the story of how you got here from your previous facility in Kew.
Well, I mean, the first thing was it took us about 2 years to pluck up the courage to take the leap of faith and move our factory from where it was about 4 miles away and move it to here. The first challenge was, do we stay in London? And we decided after much toing and froing and exploring and analysis that really London is what makes our bike. The reason it is what it is because we all use it. If we were in Merthyr Tydfil, we might have been able to make the bike a bit cheaper, but we wouldn't need to use a folding bike. So that's why we stuck with London, as well as looking after our staff. But the move actually, it took us nearly 6 months to fit this building out and make it a factory. It had about 10 people, lots of racking, shipping H&M clothing around London, and now it's got 240 people making bikes. We, over that 6 month period, we started moving in our staff. So even though the work wasn't complete, we had bits of our factory move over. That took about 3 months. What it meant was we actually only lost 3.5 days production in moving the whole factory across.
Yeah. That's very impressive. I mean, that's a huge logistical operation. But looking around, it's a fabulous building and it's a real factory for the future, isn't it? Because you're growing. I think your colleague said something like in the last 10 years, average 10 to 20% a year. Is that the kind of growth plan that you have for the foreseeable future?
I think the real opportunity in the move was to be more efficient. We were finding that we were growing and able to grow, but increasingly less efficiently. And the principal aim is to give better value to our customer. So yes, we know that with this facility, at the same amount of output, we can deliver a more efficient bike. But beyond that, the biggest constraint we had from the old factory was R&D. If we're going to be here in 10 or 15 years' time, we've got to do more innovative thinking. We've got to come out with optimized design. And we just didn't have the facilities to deliver that level of R&D. We now have outstanding facilities, which then in turn should deliver more exciting products, which we hope will give us the ability to sell and make more bikes.
We're on the factory floor. I'm here with Nick. Now, Nick, this process is the first part of the process. What and how does this work?
So we get all our raw material in, and we mainly use steel, and some parts of the bike can be titanium as well. The raw parts come in, and we basically braze those different parts together to produce the bike frame. There's 4 main parts of the bike: the rear frame, the main frame, the forks, and the handlebar. And across this part of the factory, you can see those different parts being brazed together to form the parts. And from that point, we then send them off to be sprayed by a company in Wales.
And obviously the skill of this abrasing, how long does it take your technicians to actually master this art?
So a lot of the guys and girls we get into who work here will come in with no brazing experience at all. So we have to start from scratch. And it takes about 18 months to train these guys to be master brazers.
And obviously that skill set is something that you put into these guys and obviously help them produce the level of bikes that you need.
Absolutely. So the first 6 months they're just learning how to braze, and then from those first 6 months they're actually learning the different bike parts. Our bike's very unique, so we can't draw on skills from other manufacturers or other industries. You know, these guys have to be taught from scratch by us.
So we'll go over to process number 2 then, Nick.
Yeah, if you follow me.
Okay, Nick, so this is the second part of the process. Could you tell us a little bit more what happens here?
So after all the different frame parts have been sprayed into 14 different colours, they come here, and our staff will check over each frame part to check for any imperfections in the paint, if there are any issues with the brazing before they go onto the assembly line. We also assemble all the smaller parts of the bike here. So that might be our handlebars, our racks, our gearing. All those parts are assembled and then also fed onto the assembly line from this point.
So should we move on to the production line then?
Yes, that'd be great.
So Nick, this is the third part of the process, the assembly line. You know, could you tell us a little bit more how this all works here as well?
Yeah, so once all the parts have been assembled and all the frames have been sprayed, they come onto the assembly line. The assembly line starts with just one main frame of the bike, and it goes around 12 different stations with each person adding one part to the bike. We get an order through from, let's say, Shanghai. A dealer from Shanghai will put an order through, and it'll be uploaded to our sales system, and we use Raspberry Pi computers to tell each worker what part of the bike they need to add. So we've got 16.5 million combinations, not one of these bikes are going to be the same. So without that system, we wouldn't be able to function our assembly line. It takes about 3.5-4 minutes for one bike to get built around the assembly line, and once it's complete, it's then packaged up and sent across the world.
So really, if you receive an order in the morning, can you complete that order in the same day?
Technically, yes, we could. We could get the order through and complete it within half an hour, but we usually have about 4 to 6 week lead time on our bikes, so that's how long it usually takes.
So obviously, moving from the old factory to the new factory, this obviously opened in February. You know, what will you be doing, let's say, in 2 or 3 years' time in reference to volume of bike producing?
So this financial year, we hope to reach 47,000 bikes for the year, selling across 44 countries. But the real benefit of moving to this factory, it allows us to grow and hit our target of 100,000 bikes by 2022. We'll be able to build another assembly line parallel to this assembly line, which will allow us to work longer hours during the week. And we've also got a Brompton electric bike coming out next year that will also have a separate assembly line. So this factory has given us the space to grow within our manufacturing process, but now the pressure's on us to sell more bikes to make sure we hit that target.
So would I be right in saying that you are the UK's #1 manufacturer of bikes in the UK?
We are the UK's largest bike manufacturer as it stands. Yeah.
Well, fantastic news. I hope it all goes well here.
Yeah, thanks very much.